On a cold February night in 2004, a young woman's car was found abandoned on a desolate stretch of Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. The driver? Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student with a promising future ahead of her. She had vanished without a trace. What happened in the moments before Maura disappeared has baffled investigators, haunted her family, and ignited countless theories. Was she running from something? Did she stage her disappearance? Or was it something far more sinister? Her trail ends here, but the questions are only beginning. This is her story. Maura Murray was born on May 4th, 1982, in Brockton, Massachusetts, the fourth child of Fred and Lori Murray. She was the middle child, a balancing act between her older siblings, Fred, Kathleen, and Julie, and her younger half-brother, Kurt. Raised in an Irish Catholic household, Maura's childhood was marked by faith, discipline, and resilience. But when Maura was 6 years old, her seemingly stable world was shaken. Her parents' marriage crumbled, leaving young Maura torn between two households. She lived primarily with her mother, Lori, while her father's absence became a wound she carried silently. Even as a child, Maura learned to adapt, to hold her emotions in check. But cracks were beginning to form in her seemingly unbreakable spirit. What would the 6-year-old version of Maura say if she knew how her story would unfold? Despite the challenges at home, Maura found solace and purpose on the track field. At Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, she quickly became a star athlete, breaking records and earning the admiration of her peers. Coaches praised her discipline and determination. Maura was unstoppable. When she ran, you could see the fire in her eyes. She didn't just compete, she dominated, said by her coach. But even as her trophies stacked up, Maura struggled to juggle the weight of expectations. Behind her confident smile lay a girl desperate for balance. Maura was winning every race, but was she losing herself? With her high school success, Maura secured a coveted spot at the United States Military Academy at West Point. For most, it was a dream come true. For Maura, it was a chance to escape the turbulence of her childhood. At West Point, Maura's days were grueling, filled with chemical engineering classes and rigid military discipline. While she excelled academically, the environment felt stifling. Friends said, she never said it outright, but you could tell West Point wasn't her place. Maura needed room to breathe, to be herself. She had no idea that this decision would set her life on a course no one could have predicted. Maura transferred to the University of Massachusetts Amherst to study nursing, a career that combined her love of helping others with her desire for a fresh start. But her past followed her like a shadow. In November 2003, Maura made a decision out of character. She used a stolen credit card to order food. The incident seemed minor, but it hinted at an undercurrent of desperation. What drove her to cross this line? Was it stress, rebellion, or something darker? This wasn't just a slip-up. It was the beginning of a spiral. On February 5th, 2004, Maura was working her campus security shift when she received a call from her sister, Kathleen. Their conversation was emotional, centered around Kathleen's struggles with alcohol and a recent relapse. Kathleen, dialogue, tearful. I was doing so well. But then he stopped at a liquor store. Maura? I couldn't say no. The call left Maura visibly shaken. Her supervisor found her crying at her desk, completely unresponsive. Supervisor, dialogue. She wasn't just upset. She was shattered. When I asked what was wrong, all she said was, "My sister." Had Maura reached her breaking point? Or was something, or someone, already watching her? 2 days later, Maura borrowed her father's car to attend a dorm party. But as she drove back to his motel in the early hours of February 8th, tragedy struck. At 3:30 a.m., Maura crashed into a guardrail on Route 9, causing significant damage to the car. The responding officer noted the damage, but conducted no sobriety tests. Was it an accident? Or was Maura already running from something? Or someone? She thought the worst was over. She was wrong. The next day, Fred rented a car and drove Maura back to campus. He reminded her to gather the necessary accident forms and promised they'd handle the insurance paperwork together. Everything seemed fine on the surface, but appearances can be deceiving. That Sunday evening, Maura logged onto her computer and began searching for directions to destinations in Vermont and New Hampshire. She also emailed professors, claiming she'd be absent due to a family emergency. But no such emergency existed. Why was Maura planning a trip north? Was she seeking an escape? Or was something or someone waiting for her? Monday, February 9th, 2004. Maura withdrew $280 from her bank account, purchased alcohol from a local liquor store, and packed her belongings into her car. She even left a note on top of her belongings for her boyfriend, which some believe was more like a goodbye letter. She left campus that afternoon, driving toward an unknown destination. Around 7:30 p.m., a witness saw her car skidded off Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. The vehicle was damaged, and the scene raised more questions than answers. By the time police arrived, Maura was gone, leaving behind only her car, a few belongings, and a trail of uncertainty. Inside Maura's abandoned car, police found a strange assortment of items: maps, a book about climbing mountains, and an open box of wine. But what they didn't find was Maura, or any clues about her fate. Witnesses reported seeing a young woman near the car, but conflicting stories emerged. Some said she looked calm, while others claimed she appeared frantic. Investigators were left with a perplexing scene. Had Maura left willingly? Or had someone or something forced her to abandon her car on that desolate road? The search for Maura began immediately. Local police, volunteers, and even bloodhounds scoured the woods and nearby homes, but no sign of Maura was found. Her family arrived in New Hampshire, desperate for answers. Fred Murray publicly pleaded for information, but as the hours turned into days, hope began to wane. Each day that passed without a lead only deepened the mystery. Was Maura still alive? And if so, where could she be? Over the years, countless theories have emerged about Maura's disappearance. Some believe she staged her own disappearance, escaping to start a new life. Others suspect foul play. Rumors swirled, ranging from sightings of Maura in Canada to chilling suggestions of abduction or murder. But with little evidence, every theory remained just that, a theory. What really happened to Maura? And could the key to her disappearance still be hidden in plain sight? 2 decades later, Maura's disappearance continues to haunt those who knew her. Her family remains determined to find answers, while amateur sleuths keep her case alive online. The release of an age-progressed photo in 2024 reignited public interest, but so far, it has yielded no new leads. For Fred Murray and the rest of Maura's family, closure remains elusive.